that has the wristband on so I can see that you guys all have a wristband? Okay, just double checking. Okay, alhamdulillah. All right, so we're gonna do a quick overview of the night, and then I'm gonna give the phone off to Heba. Who follows our Instagram really quickly? Raise your hand if you follow the Instagram. Okay. Who knows the agenda for the night? If not, I'm gonna be going over it anyways. Okay, so here's what our plan is, inshallah. We're starting with the bluket right now. I'm gonna hand the mic off to Heba, and then he'll explain to you guys what a bluket is. Can I have you guys quiet down really quick? Thank you. All right, 11:30 inshallah, around that time, we're gonna start with our halaqa. After that, we're gonna do some activities. We're gonna split up guys and girls. The brothers are gonna go into the dining hall area. Sisters, we can lead you into our youth room area. After that, we're gonna do, at 2:30 inshallah, we're gonna do a Jeopardy, followed by an open Q&A session with the Shaykh inshallah. From 3:45 to 4:15, we have private ibadah. 4:15 is when the qiyam starts. And then at 5 a.m., we're gonna have suhoor inshallah. One reminder that I want you guys to make sure. If you guys leave the masjid and you guys try to come back, we cannot have you guys back in. Just so that you guys are aware of that, okay? Do you guys have any questions, any upfront questions right now? Yes? Huh? You will find out what's for suhoor inshallah, okay? We have a really good lineup. Naam. Okay, I'm gonna come back to those questions. If you guys have any questions throughout the rest of the night, find me or any of our youth committee members, and then we will go with that. Yes, Abdul, you had a question? Yes, you can go to your car. Just don't, actually, I don't know where you're gonna go if you do go to your car. Okay, I would say no, honestly, unless like you're accompanied by somebody, okay? All right, so I'm gonna hand the mic off over to Heba. He's gonna explain what a bluket is.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm not hearing enough noise. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, can anyone raise their hand if you know what a bluket is? So basically, it's a Kahoot that is more interactive. We're gonna have pretty hard Islamic questions, and whoever wins gets a $15 Target gift card. Second place gets a $10 Target gift card, and third place gets a $5 Target gift card. So basically, can I have everyone quiet down, please? So, raise your hand if you want to do, raise your hand if you know what Gold Quest is in Bluket. Fishing Frenzy? Hiya. So, we're gonna do Fishing Frenzy for our Bluket today. Inshallah, it's gonna be 20 to 25 minutes. Hiya. Hiya. The code's about to be shown on the screen. Everyone go on their mobile devices and say bluket.com and enter the code.
Everyone say subhanallah if you can hear me. Everyone say Allahu Akbar if you can hear me. Okay, so if you guys see this code, yalla join the Bluket. You can scan the QR code or join via the code. And then once everyone's in there, then we're gonna go ahead and start.
if you're in the bucket. Hiya, we're gonna start inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. It looks like that it's full. So if your phone is saying full, I would recommend finding a partner to answer the questions with. Guys, I understand we didn't realize that it had a capacity. So please find a partner. Here. We're gonna start soon. In like 20 seconds.
Raise your hand if you are not in the bucket. Everyone who's raising their hand, yalla, find a partner. Yalla, find a friend or someone. Find a friend. Saif, I cannot hear you. No, it's not. Guys, can you quiet down? Guys, quiet down. Alright guys, we're gonna start in like 2 minutes. It's 11:18 right now. We're gonna start at 11:20. If you are not in the bucket, again, find somebody, sit next to someone, find a new friend, I don't know. Do what you have to do, okay? We're gonna start in 2 minutes.
We're starting in 1 minute, inshallah.
Find someone to help you. Find someone, sit next to someone who is in the game. I don't know how many times y'all want me to say this. If you are not in the game, please sit next to somebody who is in the game. You want to pay for the Kahoot? Okay, we're gonna start in like 30 seconds, okay? If you're not in, you're not in. All right, we're gonna be starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The questions should be on your screen, and then there's gonna be like a multiple choice answers. No, you instigate. Okay, guys. Looks like Danielle was in first place, but now he's in third. All right, again, questions should be on your phone. You don't need to be looking up at the projector. Naima got up to first place.
Sadiq got to first place again. Amal is in fourth place too.
Okay, looks like Daniel's throwing a fit, but he's still not on the podium. Hayat is in first place. These questions are actually not that hard. Which one? Okay, Omar went up to first place, Hayat in second, and Naima in third.
How does this game work?
Anna is in second place.
Didn't you set it up?
The Saidi twins are in first place. Afan twins are actually in first place. Saidi twins went down to second place. You guys lock in. I don't know why they have Saidi twins. Guys, if it's Saidi twins, does that mean I get the money if you guys win? If Saidi twins win, does that mean I get the money? Yes.
A fan's been in first place for a while now.
Okay, guys, let's use our inside voices, please. Let's use our inside voices.
Okay, guys, remember this is the house of Allah. Please be respectful.
You're not gonna listen, I'm gonna be honest.
Oh my god, I look chopped on this side.
Saidi twins are 1,000 points below from first place. So you guys have to, oh wow, Saidi twins went up to first place. Afan is in second place. Omar is in third place. Fodda went to second place. Afan is in fourth.
Come on, Fodda.
This is low-key embarrassing.
I want to say that so bad.
Okay, Naima went up to first place with 51,000 points, I guess.
Who's that? Who's that? I think it's Sadie Twins. Sadie Twins are winning by what? I can't even see it. Yeah. I mean, but like, we're gonna run out of time.
Sadie Twins went down to second place. Lock in.
Naeem is up by 1,000,000.
By the way, guys, guys, by the way, at one point, these questions tend to like recycle. So please make sure that you remember some of these questions if you want a chance to win. Just so you guys know.
Assalamu alaikum. I see a lot of people who are not like engaged in the game. So if you are playing it by yourself, can you like raise your hand and maybe people who don't have people to play with can join you? So is there anyone playing by themselves right now? All right, you right there in the front. So if anyone is not playing, come move your body over here, please. Now, move your body. Okay. Thank you. Introduce yourself, learn new people. Come on, guys. We want to build a community, inshallah.
This event is for building a community throughout the youth of this masjid. Minutes left, inshallah.
All right, guys, settle down for me, please. It looks like third place we have Fadda. Second place we have Zoya. And then first place we have Emin with an A. All right, alhamdulillah, congratulations, guys. All right, I'm gonna have you guys stay here for right now. You guys can talk or something. For those who won, please come see me up here. I want credentials. I want you guys to show me like your screen if it says your name that you're in the podium, okay? So if you guys won, please come up to me and talk to me, inshallah. And while we're waiting for Shaykh and Ustada to come by, you guys can just talk with yourselves. Again, please don't leave the musalla right now.
Okay, everybody settle down. Girls. Guys, everyone be quiet. Okay, we're gonna start getting ready for the halaqah. Why? Because I heard you talk. Okay, assalamu alaikum everybody. We're gonna start getting ready for our halaqah. Today we have Shaykh Saifullah, resident scholar at NWICC, who's gonna be speaking, and Ustada Faduma Warsame, and she is a University of Minnesota alumnus with a bachelor's in English. She is a graduate of Qalam Seminary's 5-year Alamaya program and currently works as a Muslim chaplain at Regents Hospital and recently joined the team at Mayo Clinic in Rochester. Additionally, Sister Faduma has been supporting the student body at the University of Minnesota as a university chaplain. And Minister, do you want me to stop?
No, yeah, it's okay.
Okay, that's basically it. You guys get the memo. But they're going to be giving us our halaqah today, so let's give them our undivided attention and be respectful. Okay, we're going to be talking about unfiltered social media and the modern world, inshallah. So everyone be quiet, be respectful. You guys know how to act. We're in the musalla. And thank you. هم استعملوا ده. Yeah, they're gonna.
Bismillah, inshallah, we're going to start with Ustada, and then inshallah, we will have a time for Q&A as well, so I want you guys to think about some questions that you have for our guest, and if you have anything for me, as well as we'll have a conversation, hopefully, on the topic, inshallah. So go ahead, Ustada, Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma alimna ma yanfa'una wa anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa zidna ilma. O Allah, teach us that which is beneficial, benefit us with that which you have taught us, and increase us in knowledge. Allahumma ameen. How are you all doing? Good? Alhamdulillah. So I'm really excited to be here with you all this evening, inshallah, to talk about this topic on social media. Before we get started, though, I want to ask you guys a question, okay? And so this question doesn't require you all to answer it. It's just, I'm going to ask the question, and then if you agree, put your hands up, and then when I ask if you don't agree, put your hands up, okay? I just want to get a quick, estimate. So if you think, if we were to weigh the pros or the cons, the benefits or the harms of social media, if you believe that the benefit outweighs the harm, raise your hand for social media. There's more good than bad. Raise it up high, okay? Don't be shy. Okay, more good than bad. If you believe that there's more bad than good, raise your hand. Okay, are you guys like shy or something? Raise your hand all the way up. Okay. If you have no comment, raise your hand. There's a couple, not everybody raised their hand, so I'm assuming some people are in the middle. Okay? This is not Jubilee, okay? I'm not gonna have some people go to the right, some people go to the left, some people stay in the middle. Okay, I wanna just ask some of you who raised your hand to share. I know we might not be able to hear you, but I'll repeat it, okay? I just wanna hear one person who said that the benefit outweighs the harm. Can you raise your voice? Yeah. Okay. So she says that she believes that the good can outweigh the bad and does outweigh the bad because it really depends on you. Whatever thing you're looking for, you're gonna find it. If you're looking for good, you're gonna find it. If you're looking for bad, you're gonna find it. Okay, great answer. What about the opposite side? So nobody believes that the harms outweigh the good? Okay, you. Yeah, okay. So you're saying like the algorithm, right? That there are certain things that will put information or things that you would have never ever come across on your own. You would never search for it, but because the harm outweighs the good, it ends up being on your For You page or something. And it's just going to continue like that, right? So a lot of harm that you weren't even looking for. Okay, great. Thank you both for sharing. And I think if I were to open it even more up, we would have a lot more really wonderful answers. And that's just maybe more anticipation for our discussion later, inshallah. So I think when we talk about social media, I think this is what we need to consider. What you both have said. That you can't anything you do in life, you need to know what your why is. Okay? We go to school, we go to college, we go to work, we live our lives, and we do all of these things because we know what our why is. There's nothing, at least I hope, that you do except that you know why you're doing it. Otherwise you're like, what, a zombie? You're just living life vicariously, just one thing to the next. You shouldn't be living a life like that, by the way. But anything that we do in life has to actually be purposeful. That's not just for us as humans, that's for us as Muslims. We live meaningful lives. That's the difference between a Muslim and someone who's not a Muslim. We live purposeful, meaningful lives. And we know this because the Prophet ﷺ taught us, okay, in a hadith narrated by Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who said that the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Okay, وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَّا نَوَى. The actions are based on their intentions, and everyone will get what they have intended. So whoever makes hijrah for Allah and His Messenger, then they've made hijrah for Allah and His Messenger. And whoever, hijrah being migration, and whoever migrates for this world, للدنيا يصيبها, and obtaining something from it, أو امرأة ينكحها, or trying to get married to someone, فهجرته إلى ما هاجر إليه, then their hijrah is for whatever they intended. This hadith is such a dynamic hadith because it opens for us the understanding to so much. Most people talk about this hadith when they talk about how merciful Allah is, because by knowing that your intentions matter, that means if you intended to do a good deed and you didn't do it, then you get the good deed because you intended it. But it also helps us to understand how purposeful our lives are, because nothing should be done in our lives except that there's an intention. There's no such thing as just winging it, just living your life, living vicariously from one thing to the next. The reality is, though, we live in a time of massive influencing. So actually, I don't even have to think about what I want to eat tomorrow, right? I don't have to think about what I want to purchase because I'm an influenced person. So whatever I see, I do it. Whatever I hear, I do it. And that is very antithetical to the life we should be living as Muslims. We should be living lives that are very mindful, that we're aware of the choices that we make. They're not just based off of any social media trend or anything that we see. But that begins with what? Knowing your why. So most people, if you have social media, right? I'm not going to age myself and tell you guys the first social media app I downloaded, but if I were to even ask myself why I even downloaded that, I would tell you, to be honest, it was because other people had it. My friends had it, and so I downloaded it. And that's not again, informed way of living our lives. Why should I have something simply because other people have it? You have to have an intention. You have to be mindful. You have to genuinely think to yourself, what is my why? Why am I downloading this? Because guess what? If you do not have a why, if you do not have a purpose, if you do not have an objective, then you are not living your life, you are not leading your life, you are only being led. You are quite literally being led by whatever it is, the algorithm, by those influencers, by you know, all the people who are controlling social media, making, you know, when you think about, there was a documentary that was done, or not, it wasn't a documentary, it was a show, or I think it was like a docu-series or something, a couple years ago, The Social Dilemma. Have you guys heard of that on Netflix? And I thought that was interesting how they talked about all of the things, not just the impact of social media, but there was a clip from that actual show, I'm gonna call it, where they talked about one of the guys who worked at Google, okay, or Gmail. He was talking about how, or no, it was Facebook, I think. He was talking about how they created like notifications, the way they, the notifications, or was it the, you know, the infinite scroll? You know, there was a, you guys probably don't know that, but there was a time where there was no such thing as infinite scroll. Like, you would get to the end of your scroll for the day or for that time, and then khalas, like, there's no such thing as, they would tell you you're at the end. But now, they created infinite scroll. Why? So again, like, you know, we can continue scrolling so that our time is just given away. We're doing something that is very mindless. Anyways, I, you know, continue talking about this. My objective really is for us to be more informed with the things that we use in our lives, whatever it is. Do you know how right now, right, Muslims are hyper aware of where we shop because of BDS, correct? People are boycotting certain things. So when it comes to certain purchases, it's like, oh, are they on the BDS list? You know, can I shop here? Can I not? Why are we doing that though? We're trying to be informed because of the fact that there's a global movement, boycott, divest, sanction, in order to try our best to not aid in the destruction of Palestine, right? We're trying to put pressure on these organizations, these institutions. We're doing that, and we're doing that very intentionally, to the point that people are using apps. Can you imagine that kind of power if we applied it to our own lives? If I genuinely took advantage of the, like, was super mindful of how I spend my time. We're aware of that during the month of Ramadan at least. If you watch television shows or movies or spend your time playing video games, you're hyper aware about where you're spending that time, are you not? Because it's Ramadan. You don't want to waste your time. You want to make sure you're praying, you're fasting, you're, you know, reading Quran, you're utilizing your time mindfully. Well, if you were to, if we, because I'll say we, right? All of those of us who have social media or are engaging in, you know, or spending time using social media, we have to be very mindful, because you can definitely live on one side of the extreme, whether you are super mindless and don't care about how you spend your time. You are fine with being influenced, being a follower, and just, you know, like sheep, like just continuing, doesn't matter, you know, they say jump, or you say how high. Or on the other extreme, where you actually, you know, say that I'm not gonna have social media. And I wouldn't even consider that extreme, but I would say that in this day and age, it can be really challenging for a lot of people. Or you can live your life in the balance, in the middle, where you're aware of how you spend your time, right? You're aware of the accounts you follow. You're aware of the algorithm, right? You're aware of the things that show up on your timeline or whatever it is that you're using. And if it's something that's not conducive to the kind of environment you want for yourself, things that you want to be influenced by, you try to block it or remove it from, you know, there's people who I know, like they try their best to rig their algorithm in a particular type of way, right? And so, all that being said, I think it's just really important for us to think about it from that perspective, that actually we have so much power that we give up every single day. I give up the power to be able to utilize my time in the best way possible when I accept the fact that I'm just going to live this very, you know, live a life where I'm just continuing to accept things that I feel like I don't have any control over. We have the most control. And we begin that with having a good intention, right? The hadith that we just mentioned, having a good intention. And your intentions are powerful. They are incredibly powerful. Intentions can take something that is just normal and turn it into a good deed. And so accept that. That's the first step, is accepting our own responsibility, finding our why, and setting our intentions. And so when we do that, we can really turn something that many of us can think of like, oh, it's destructive, it's horrible, it's misguiding, to something that's quite literally super powerful and can be a means of guidance and benefit for so many people. Okay, and I'll stop there, inshallah, and we'll continue afterwards. Jazakumullah khair.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. Jazakallah khair Ustadh Faduma. I think that was very beneficial. I think it gives us some food for thought. And I just want us to focus on kind of where she kind of was trying to guide us in this conversation. She talked a lot about intention. I want to actually get into the nitty-gritty of the subject, because I feel that a lot of us actually don't understand both sides of the paradigm. I think there's a lot of benefit, there's a lot of pros when it comes to social media. And I remember in my time, she was talking about, the first app that she downloaded. I remember when Facebook was the main app, and my parents prohibited me strictly from having a Facebook. And I had to find a way to make a Facebook. Don't be like me. Please, if your parents don't allow you to have accounts, don't have social media accounts. Listen to your parents. But the reason I look back and I think about it, the reason why I was so adamant to have an account was I didn't want to feel alone. I didn't want to feel left out. And I didn't really see where my parents were coming from. And that's something that I think is a little bit different now, because back in the day when social media started, it was really kind of new, and people did not have a good sense of social media. Now we live in the time and era where most of our shuyukh are on social media. I was just talking to Ustada before this that, I think it's important for us, people like myself and her and other of our teachers, like actual scholars, scholars and imams and trained individuals, to be on these platforms. Because if we don't actually take up these positions and these places on these platforms, people will actually just come. And nowadays you see anyone and everyone speaking on social media, and their clips go viral. I've yet to have a clip go viral yet, inshallah one day, but their clips go viral, and they get all this fame and whatnot, and they don't really know what they're talking about, to be honest. So I think I want to cover 4 points, inshallah, and then I'll flip it over to Q&A. Give me a time, okay, when I have like 5 minutes left. But when we talk about this, I really want to talk about, she started with, and I want to start with the same point, the pros and the cons. What are the pros of social media? Just quickly, brothers and sisters, pros of social media. Pros, yes. Resources, okay, resources. Anyone else? Staying informed, okay, being aware, okay, very good. Brothers, what are some of the pros of social media? We had some hands here. Unless none of you guys have social media accounts. None of you do? You don't, no social media accounts? You do? Okay. You're on TikTok, I know that. I'm not trying to expose it. What's the pros? Staying connected with friends and family, knowing what's up, what they're doing, what they ate for dinner is important, right? To know what they ate. You have to know what your friend ate, of course. Okay? What else? What else? We only have 3 pros? This is going to be an easy one-way conversation if we only have 3 pros. Yes? Da'wah, okay. Can you elaborate what kind of da'wah? Right, the truth, right? They've been able to see truth from falsehood, right? Because the legacy media outlets are one-sided, right? They're really influenced by the Zionist movement and the agenda. And through TikTok and Instagram and these places, people have actually been able to see what's actually going on in the ground. That's very important. What else? Is there any others? Real quickly. Yes. Sorry, I can't see you. You're behind the pillar for me. Getting to know people, I think that's a little controversial. Can you elaborate? In your community, among the sisters? Yes, okay. MashaAllah. Yes. Charity, like people use social media for like campaigns to collect money for charities. Yeah, I was just with HDF. Anyway, all you guys have social media, follow HDF. Just shout out to them. But yeah, okay. Bismillah. Sorry, I can't see you, sister. You're laying down. I'm tired as well. That's why I have my chai here that I'm just drinking slowly to keep me awake. I don't have as much energy as you guys have now. Sorry, what were you saying? Sorry? What did she say? It helps reverts learn about Islam. Okay, so new Muslims. It keeps them, okay, I'll take it. Anyone else? Before we close it, we have like 5 or 6 good points, I think. Any other last points that we have not said so far? Yes. Islamic events. So that's kind of like up to date with information, what's going on. Okay, I'll give you it. Okay, that's good. Now let's flip the discussion. What are the cons of social media? I better see a lot of hands. The parents will be very happy today. Yes. A lot of distractions. Sorry? Temptations, distractions, temptations. Okay. Very good. Yes. Lack of privacy, that's a big one. What do you mean by that? You have privacy settings. You can just turn privacy settings on. Sorry, can we just quiet down so we actually can hear them? I can't hear them, sorry. So you're talking about why people actually use social media, because they want to share what they're doing in their life. Okay, I'll take it. That's a con. Okay, I'll take it. We can debate about it, but I'll take it. Yes. Modesty. What do you mean by modesty? So unfiltered content, okay, yeah, I think that's a big con. That's a huge con because we have to deal with the algorithm, right? And we have no control of the algorithm. True. We had a sister in the back. Then I'll go to Fidla. Sister in the back, you raise your hand. Okay, the normalization. That's a huge one. Right? So people are just normalizing it. In Islam, there's a concept that you can sin and hide it. That's one sin. But it's worse if you do a sin and you normalize it and you show it to other people. So yeah, that's true. Okay, Fidda. Huh? So seeing trends and then getting involved with certain trends. I mean, we had that stupid Tide Pod, may Allah forgive. I don't know who started that. Was that a while back? That was a while back, right? I'm old, sorry. I'm a little old, but yeah. Trends, okay. So Suhoor Fest is a con. We don't have Suhoor Fest. We're protecting all of you guys from the mass Suhoor Fest that's going on. Sorry, mass. We love you, but we're protecting you. We're giving you guys an alternative, so you guys came here, mashallah. Jazakallah khair. So yeah, I think my point of going through all of this is to say that there's a lot of pros, but there's a lot of cons as well. And for me, when I look at social media and parents come to me and they tell me, oh, Shaykh, can you tell our kids to get off social media? For me, it's a very difficult conversation to have because it's a double-edged sword. As many as the pros there are for social media, there's a lot of cons when it comes to social media. Second thing I want to talk about, and I'm just highlighting a couple of things, and I hope we can have a discussion on this later on, but the concept of identity and validation. When people become so attached to social media, it becomes their identity. I don't know if you have people like that, but I know in my friend group, there are people that have to post every single day. Like, and it doesn't matter what they're doing. There could be the most nonsensical thing. They have to post a picture. Why? Because that's their identity. That defines them. And then what's even worse than that is that they need validation from that. They need people to validate them, right? Those comments, mashallah, you look amazing, you know, your makeup is on point. Or, you know, mashallah, the thobe is, I don't know what they say thobe is doing, but, or whatever the case may be. And if you don't get that validation, you don't feel good about yourself. So that actually defines you. And I think so that's a huge problem. And then it leads to another issue, which is the problem of comparison. Comparing myself to someone else, right? They show their life on social media, and you say, why don't I have a life like that? Look at them, they're balling in their whatever Mercedes, BMW, and look, I'm driving a Toyota Camry. We love Toyota Camrys, by the way. But you start comparing yourself. Look at their house. Look how beautiful, look how fancy and bougie their house is. Look at my like tiny apartment, right? And you start comparing yourself. And that leads to a sense of feeling unsatisfied with one's life. And actually, it's a very dark place that you can go down. And we've seen actually, especially in the mental health field, a lot of people, a lot of the issues that came from social media. And the fourth thing I want to just quickly touch on before we end is the time wasted versus the time invested. This is a very important thing. There's a lot of time that's actually wasted in social media versus the time you invested in something positive in social media. Yes, you can invest in time in social, and that's positive, but that's very far and few. When it comes to people, there are some accounts that, mashallah, they create amazing content. But a lot of times, you know, those accounts are not even run by the people themselves. They have a team, they have admin, they have staff who actually run those accounts. I started making a couple of reels, and the time it took me to make the reels and TikToks, like I'm like, this is crazy. Like I'm putting hours and hours into the filming and, you know, making sure the audio is okay and the tuning and the background and it's crazy, right? So we have to look at the kind of the time that we're looking at. And I think really asking ourselves how, like Ustada was talking about, the endless scrolling at night. I know, mashallah, we have a lot of time on our hands, especially at night time nowadays, and we find ourselves, even in Ramadan and outside of Ramadan, endlessly scrolling just to satisfy ourselves, or just to stim something in our brain cells that will allow us to laugh, or, you know, say something, some reaction. And I think what comes to mind is the concept that Islam brings, which is being aware of our surroundings and our time, right? The Prophet ﷺ tells us that we will be asked about how we spent our youth. MashaAllah, all of you guys are young. I don't know if I can include myself being young still, but MashaAllah, all of you guys are still young. And I think it's important for us to really think about how we want to use this time. Right? Alhamdulillah, Allah has given us siha, He has given us health, He's given us afiyah, He has not tested us like other people in the world are being tested, right? What do we do with that, right? And I think so, just really encouraging ourselves to, you know, track our time. I tell a lot of people, set, you know, the time, look at your screen usage. I don't know how many people have looked at their screen usage before? Okay. Very good. And how many people are happy with their screen usage? Says, I'm really good. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Amazing, MashaAllah, sisters. We need to bring them up here so you guys can come up here and talk about how you guys are actually doing that. But it's being accountable, right? The Prophet ﷺ says, take account of yourself before account is taken of you. So these are a couple of things, inshallah, and hopefully I want to open this discussion to us, so I'm going to give it back to Sham for us, for her to, inshallah, engage us in conversation. And also, if you guys have any questions to ask Ustadha or myself, inshallah.
Okay, assalamu alaikum everyone. First of all, I want to say jazakallah for everyone for showing up, and then also jazakallah to Ustadha and Shaykh for speaking on this important topic that we all definitely need to hear. First, I just want to touch on a couple of things that you guys both mentioned. So, Ustadha, you talked about finding purpose in our lives and why we're doing what we're doing, and then Shaykh, you talked about investing or making social media more of an investment than it is a waste. Can you guys just touch on, like, kind of tie those two together and just like how can we find a purpose in our lives and then still invest our time with, because social media at the end of the day is kind of a resource, like someone said over there. So how can we invest and make our time more useful and have a purpose in what we're doing?
One thing I'll just say is, when you're unaware of how much time you're putting in to anything, you're always going to end up doing more than you want, right? So that's why when you just are scrolling on your phone, you're just like, how is it already 2 a.m., right? Like you're just scrolling, and then it's already, very late at night. You have to set up something for yourself. There's accountability, like Shaykh was just saying, right? Bring yourself to account before you're brought to account. So having like some sort of expectation for yourself or limits, and I would highly encourage, if you are not already aware of how much time you spend on social media, like you really take a hard look at your screen time and set some realistic expectations for yourself. Or instead of maybe like breaking it down and saying, I'm going to only use X app, whatever app, for this much time a day. Maybe sometimes instead of setting up like a limit like that, it's probably easier to say when you're not going to use it. So I'm gonna make sure, some people will say that, they'll say, when I wake up in the morning, I do not look at my phone. Like I make sure that, and at the last 30 minutes of my night, I'm not looking at my phone. When I'm with my family, I'm not looking at my phone. When I'm driving, I'm definitely not looking at my phone, right? Like these types of things, it's so important to have these expectations for yourself. That way, you've already minimized so much, right? And then you can start working on things like your algorithm, why you even use certain apps, what types of videos you're sending to your friends or your friends are sending to you, how you're utilizing that time. Entertainment, I think, has its time and place, but it's really important to understand what are we really like getting from these apps.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think it's a very simple question. I think so before we, go back to the apps that we were using, really ask ourselves the question that Ustada asked us. Why are we on Instagram, right? Why are we on TikTok? For a long time, I never understood why this brain rot generation is on TikTok. Like, I never understood it. But now, alhamdulillah, I think through looking at what it has actually, the good that has come out of TikTok, I think there's a clear reason that I see now that why I am on TikTok, right? I actually get to see what's going on. Information is uncensored. Inshallah, make dua that Allah protects TikTok and protects and allows it to still be open. But unfortunately, things are changing even on TikTok, right? They're taking control of the algorithm. So I think asking ourselves and being aware of the benefits and harms, right? And trying to lean more towards the benefits. And that could be very difficult. I know a lot of you guys are high school? You guys are all high school. It should be high school. If you're not high school, then you snuck in somehow. But you guys are all in high school and above. So I know you guys all think that you're adults and what your parents say and other people say mean nothing, and you know what's best for yourself. And maybe to a certain point that's true. But sometimes it's hard to take account of yourself. So I will just advise you of one thing specifically, that when you are on social media, when you're on your these accounts, whatever accounts may be mindful and at least set the intention that the way that you differentiate if you're doing something right or wrong is that as long as you are not shy to show someone else your social media accounts, if you're willing to, not show me, but your parents or someone picked it up and they went through your DMs and you have conversations going on, as long as you are okay showing that to someone else, then inshallah you should be okay. But if there's a shyness or there's a fear that I don't want to show someone or something, then most of the time there's a reason why you don't want to, and that's your inner fitra, your heart telling you that you're doing something wrong. So balancing that, I think so that is one of the most important things. And then inshallah, setting goals. If that means sharing content, you should be sharing beneficial content, right? Beneficial content, that's shuyukh, reminders, videos. Share those kind of things. Follow Shaykh Saif, and if Ustaz Faduma has an Instagram, follow our Instagram and share our stuff, our feeds. But in general, I would say lean more towards the beneficial side, and inshallah, Allah give us all tawfiq.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer. I think if anyone has a question, just raise your hand.
Yes, in the back.
Did everyone hear that question?
That's a good question.
Okay, she said, some people say that if you get your Islam from TikTok or social media, then you're getting it from the wrong place. Is that the right idea? So, yeah.
Go, you say.
So, whoa, okay. I wouldn't say that you're doing it wrong. I would say that there is a lot of beneficial things on TikTok, right? But when we think about our religion, our Islam, Islam is built on, well, that's a hadith. Islam is built on 5, right? We have the 5 pillars of Islam. And then as Muslims, the Prophet ﷺ said, seeking knowledge is an obligation on every single Muslim. Now, seeking knowledge has to be from those who are qualified. Is there a way for you to know when someone who's on TikTok is qualified? Okay, raise your hand if you think people, okay. Do you think people who are on TikTok are qualified to teach Islam? Raise your hand if you say yes. Raise your hand. I see a lot of this. Like and I think this is because there are some qualified people on TikTok, and there's those who are not qualified on TikTok, correct? The question is, how do you know who's who? Because anyone can say anything, especially if you never know what. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're saying the way that you kind of discern when someone is qualified versus someone is not qualified is that if someone's qualified, they're saying actual names of scholars and they're quoting the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ and whatnot. The point, which is a great point, not everybody knows that though, right? Most people don't know that. They don't know how to discern. And so the point I'm trying to make is when you're studying Islam, there's a methodology. There's a way in which we study Islam, and yes, alhamdulillah, we live in a we live in a modern age where studying Islam has very much evolved. And so there are new and improved ways where people are getting their knowledge. That being said, I don't believe that that is the best way and that's a sufficient way of seeking knowledge. It's additional. So you can be on TikTok, and I learn sometimes new things on TikTok. Like I'll see someone share something really beautiful, a wonderful perspective, and I'm like, wow, this is wonderful, right? But that should not that shall not be the foundation by which I begin my religious knowledge. And the issue is that a lot of our young Muslims today, that's how they're getting their knowledge. And I don't think it's a bad thing, but I do think that there needs to be some redirection, right? So not shutting someone down and saying, you know, don't take from that person or don't, you know, because there's a lot of people who share really beneficial content. You know, just because they're not a scholar doesn't mean they can't provide benefit. However, that shouldn't be someone telling you what's halal and what's haram.
Yeah.
You need to draw that red line, okay? You have a local imam, you go to your local imam and you ask those questions.
Yeah, I've actually learned a lot from TikTok. A lot of life hacks. That's really what I've learned. Life hacks and things that apparently I've been doing wrong my whole life, and somehow someone came to TikTok and said that, oh, we've been doing this wrong for the last 20, 30 years. I mean, that's really what I've learned. But I agree, that all jokes aside, I agree with Ustada. I think it's very important to understand that TikTok, Instagram, even YouTube is not a efficient, official outlet to actually seek knowledge. And it should not take the place of your masjid. It should not take the place of your local scholar or shaykha. It should not take the place of your, people who are educated around you. And it should not become the first place that you go when seeking answers. A lot of times we always call Google Mufti Google, right? Because everyone feels that they can go and type in something. It's like, my wife is in medical school, and she talks about WebMD. People like, oh, I have XYZ, WebMD says, yeah, you have cancer, you're gonna die. Like, everyone's like, what, I'm going to die? Like, it's not the right place to go. And that's why Ibn Sirin narrated in Sahih Muslim, he says, Inna hadha al-ilm dinun. He says that this knowledge is actually a religion. فَانظُرْ عَمَّنْ تَأْخُذُونَ دِينَكُمْ. Look at where you take your religion from. So it's very, very important for us to have qualified, and I think the first clarification is qualified individuals. And the qualified individuals, the ratio when you look at qualified and unqualified individuals on TikTok and these platforms, unfortunately, is very low. There's a lot of people that know how to kind of work with the algorithm, and they get their things promoted. And there's a lot of Islamophobes. I don't know if you've seen like TikTok, but there's a lot of Islamophobes who get millions of views on their videos. Right? And they say, oh, did you know in Sahih al-Bukhari, and just because there are a couple of keywords, people think, oh yeah, this is legit information. But it's all nonsense, because these people don't even know what they're talking about. And the last thing I will say is that it's a responsibility on us and on all of you as well. I know, mashallah, a lot of you guys are busy with school and everything, but actually dedicating some time to go and attending these kind of programs and actually finding substantial quality knowledge and teachings in our community. Alhamdulillah, in Minnesota, we're blessed. There are many masajid, and there are different programs that go on. Find one of these local programs and attach yourself. Alhamdulillah, I have a lot of youngsters here, a lot of the youth, mashallah, Marwa, and all of these. These are all my students. They've studied with me, and then now, alhamdulillah, they're teaching in Sunday school, and they're involving themselves, and they're continuously seeking knowledge. I think that's very important. And when you do that, then you will, inshallah, equip yourself with the tools to be able to differentiate yourself. You can say, this person, yeah, this person is legit, and I know this person is just, bluffing, because you will have those tools yourself, inshallah.
Thank you so much. I think that is really important to highlight the fact that even on social media, your feed will give you what you want. We were talking about algorithms, so there's a lot of bias into it as well. So I think that that's important to highlight. Are there any other questions from?
Yeah, do we have any other questions? Bismillah. I want to see what you guys are thinking about, what you guys think, what you guys' thoughts are. They must be a little bit shy. Brothers, you have any questions? No questions? I know you have a question. Is it? So go, shoot. Okay. Okay, so he wants to bring us back to our conversation that we had before.
Okay, so the question was like, how do you deal with having the opposite gender on social media? And then I kind of want to add on to that, like, how do you respond? Someone mentioned fitna and temptation as a con. How do you respond to that, basically?
Yeah, so we've talked about this before. I think so. There are different ways to look at this question, okay? And it really depends on how we are using our social media. Habibi, listen, I'm speaking to you, right? You asked the question, right? Okay. It really depends on how we are using social media. How do you use social media? What do you use it for? So you're trying to communicate with sisters, check on them, make sure their iftar was good. Alhamdulillah, they were satisfied with the Masjid Taraweeh. Like, mm-hmm. So you add them, but you don't talk to them. So what's the point of adding them then? I'm just curious. He says, mashallah, I add them, but I don't talk to them. So then I said, well, what's the point of having them then? If you don't talk to them, you don't say salamu alaikum, you're not checking on them, then khalas, it's just another, are you doing it for the numbers? I'm joking, you're not. He's famous, mashallah, on these social media apps, right? Yeah, mashallah, he is. I think it's important for us to understand, look, Islam is a very clear way of life. It teaches us how we interact with opposite gender. We had a halaqah on this before, last Ramadan before that, I talked about it, right? I think so there needs to be clear lines drawn when it comes to interaction. I said this before, I don't believe in friendship with the opposite gender. I don't believe in that. That does not mean you can't have acquaintances. Right? You can have acquaintances. You guys can, maybe be in the same MSA, or you may be in the same school, or in the same masjid, or same community. I don't want you to pretend that, we live in some other world and the opposite gender lives in some other world. But I want us to be intentional, right? If you're adding them, the question is, why are you adding them, right? And unless we can answer the question why, then we shouldn't be doing it. Right? But if we can answer it and you can convince me, and anyone, this is open for discussion. If anyone can convince me why we need the opposite gender, then khalas, I don't see any issue. Yes? Oh, so now we're doing the follow back. They follow you, follow them back. Look. As long as there is a accountability in your social media accounts and you are using it and not abusing it, then there's no issue, okay? But if you're trying to, adding them, one thing they add you, then you add them, or vice versa, you add them, then they add you, and then, it goes one step, you start liking their pictures and their videos and their TikToks, and then that goes to DMs, and then that's a very dangerous path to go down, right? So just being able to control that and make sure, and just be intentional. If you're adding them, why are you adding them? If you're not adding them, why are you not adding them? Very simple, right? And I'm not here to say halal, haram, you should or shouldn't do. I don't like to do that. I like to more look at it from the perspective of, what are the pros and cons and why are we doing it? And let Islam and let the rest of that guide us. Does that make sense? Usada, you have anything to add? You don't have anything to add? Okay. Jazakallah khair. Anything else? Any other questions? Does that answer your question? Answer your question? Okay, good. Any other questions when it comes to social media? Do we have any professionals, social media professionals here? Some, mashallah, big account numbers? No? The U of M? Mashallah. What did they do to get a follow from the U of M? Yours? It's following you? Oh, mashallah. You have some, mashallah, good relationship with them? These are all students. She's a student too. She doesn't get a follow. Did you get a follow, Sham? Haram. What is this? Oh, mashallah. You help with the show. So he has an in with them, mashallah. Very good. Is there anything else? I wanted this to be more of a discussion. How many people actually felt that this was a very good discussion, beneficial discussion? Okay. Any comments, concerns, feedback in terms of what we were talking about? Yes. I didn't hear it, but can you?
So talking about, tell me if I got
you guys,
the right
one
idea.
second. Can you guys just quiet down?
So talking about how do you protect yourself from evil eye, especially on social media, and mindful of what you're posting.
Yeah, I'll defer the question to Ustada.
So The Prophet ﷺ said that the evil eye is true. Okay? So we do know that that is a thing. Now, it's important also to understand that not every single thing that happens to you means that it's the evil eye too, right? We live in a time, someone had mentioned this, right? Like everything needs to be shared. Everybody feels like they, they're so important that they want to share every single detail about their life. And the reality is that I believe it's a statement attributed to the Prophet ﷺ that says, don't be discreet when you, I'm paraphrasing, but be discreet in obtaining that which you desire, because, everything, everything that is sought is, can be, like the evil eye can afflict it, or, I'm paraphrasing it. The idea is that being discreet, not sharing everything, right? And so it's important to think about striking a balance. When you think about the things that are the most important things to you, when somebody has good news that they want to share, who are the first people that they think about sharing it with? Or you, put yourself in your shoes. Who is the first person that you think about sharing good news with? The person you often care the most about, that you trust the most, that you know wishes you well. The issue with social media is you don't know all those people. You don't know whether they wish you well or not. And so it's important to think about when you are sharing information, and it's really kind of scary when you think about the types of comments people leave on social media posts, or how people feel like they can hide behind, they're hiding behind an internet screen. You have to think about the kind of environment that you're placing yourself and whatever news that you are planning on sharing. And so I think that we as a community have to step away from this need to overshare. It's actually quite strange. is the only thing I can think of. Like the fact that we have this desire to just share, overshare, and that was never the thing, or that was never the case in the past. I do think part of it stems from what Shaykh was talking about, this loneliness, like that people sometimes feel, why they want to have, say, seeking out community on social media. But knowing that the community that we're seeking out sometimes on social media aren't the people that want the best for us. And so if there aren't people who want the best for us, then I genuinely have to be mindful of what it is that I'm sharing. It's less about over-focusing on evil eye and jealousy and hasad and all that kind of stuff, and more focusing on being private and genuinely thinking about the things that you value and who deserves to hear those things, who deserves to know those things, right? Right now, if I tell every single person in this room my deepest, darkest secret, then it's no longer valuable, because every single person knows in this room. And when you think about the things you treasure and you value the most, you don't want that other people have access to those things. So it's just, again, trying to value the things that matter to us the most, and not necessarily assuming every single thing is evil eye, but also doing our due diligence and protecting ourselves from those things as well too.
Yeah. I will just say one thing specifically when it comes to this. More than just the evil eye aspect of it, I think it's more about being careful from both sides, posting and observing, and staying away from becoming jealous, right? What happens a lot of times when we post things is that, we may just be posting our lovely vacation in the Bahamas, like, mashallah, we're amazing, you're doing that, but, the person who's looking at it is easily maybe going through a very tough time, and they don't have the financial ability to go for this vacation, or they may not have it, and that creates a sense of jealousy, right? And that's why one of the poets, he says that how strange is jealousy, بدأ بصاحبه فقتله, that it starts with the person who's actually jealous themselves, and it kills them from inside. That the person inside is being, they're being tortured because they want this, and the person who's posting it's like, I'm just living my life. But there could have actually tangible effects on other people. So just being mindful of that from, I think, that aspect as well, and staying away from posting useless things, right? I think we need to move away. I can't speak on this because I was a part of it, but this concept that you have to post pictures of your food and what you're eating and your drinks and all of that, I mean, I really don't understand it. I used to do it, but then like now, first of all, I feel very, I won't say shy, but guilty when I post things like that, because first of all, there are a lot of people may not even have food to be eating, and I'm here posting something I'm eating. But it's just, again, oversharing. Ustada said it. She said, what's the need of oversharing? You know, we have been programmed by, you know, Western culture to need to overshare and share everything, right? The idea of like Snapchat is like you can just take a picture and just share your life, and there's really no need to do that, right? They keep pushing us in the direction of share more, and you know, people. I actually liked the Be Real for a while. You know, it was kind of more in touch with reality, right? Because you couldn't put all these filters and you couldn't make your life look like Jannatul Firdaus when you're just you're just doing a random thing. And I think it's still going on, so, right? Some people still have Be Reals, I guess. I don't know. But I like that more than actually just, you know, useless posting. If you really want to stay in touch with people. But just keeping a balance, I think it's all about balance. Inshallah, is there any other questions? Anything before we wrap up? I know it's been a while. Yes. Yeah, the reason I tell Asada to answer the question of the evil eye is I have a very interesting opinion on it, so I'm not going to go into that too much here. But I wouldn't become super obsessed with the idea that everything, like if I share anything, I'm going to get evil eye, right? There's a balance, right? And I've seen the unhealthy side, especially in our cultures. I'm Arab, and in the Desi culture, there's a very, very unhealthy obsession over evil eye. Right? Like even the smallest things, like astaghfirullah, I got evil eye. And like even like a mother could give their daughter evil eye. I'm just like, how does that work? Like, how can a mother or a father like have their son crash their car because they give them the evil eye? So I think there's a balance. But even with these other apps like LinkedIn and whatnot, I think there's a balance. I think from one side it's good because you need to build your career, and you know it really, I think those who actually, you guys are young still, but those who are in the more professional side of the field, they would say that actually LinkedIn helps, right? You know, you connect with people and there's a lot of benefits. But again, I would say everything in moderation, keeping it in moderation, right? Enough to satisfy yourself, and enough to like put what is needed out there for your career without, again, oversharing. Like if you're getting extra scholarship and you just want to boast that everyone, hey, look, I got this internship, wow, look at me, like what's the point of that, right? So I would say balance it. And I don't know, Sally, you have anything?
Yeah, no, I really like the last point that Shaykh Saifullah said regarding being mindful. I have a LinkedIn, and so it's, you know, I made it when I was, I did an internship my junior year, or end of my junior year into my senior year of high school, and then throughout college, I used it here and there, and I just stopped using it after I graduated college into Alamia, and I only recently started using it maybe a year or two ago again. And that's because, again, when you think about professional development, it's important when you're applying for jobs, when you're applying for opportunities, you know, if you want to apply for higher educational opportunity as well, you need to have somewhere where all your professional, aside from just a CV, for example, or even a resume, somewhere where you're able to also connect and network with other people too, right? And so I think about, well, even being able to share some of the things that you've done, what type of effect it had on you. These are things that your future employers and people who want to connect with you are able to read, and just being mindful of the type of content you're putting out, and not that it be, not it being something that's just insignificant, or it's something that may not be very beneficial. But if you did do a particular certification, absolutely, that's going to make you different. If you did a summer internship, and then you share a reflection on what that meant to you, that means a lot, right? And obviously you have to do that internal dialogue for yourself as well too, to be able to see, am I, is this making me arrogant? Is this making me feel like I'm better than other people because I did X, Y, and Z? Or am I turning this all because to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, and thanking Allah for every single opportunity, right? So that's the thing we forget is, we get all these opportunities, or we do all of these certifications, we get all these degrees, and then we forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the process. So being able to remember Allah and show gratitude to Him.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that was a very beautiful way to answer that question. Just reminder, how everything should just stay balanced and protect your peace at the end of the day. And yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up for the halaqah. Jazakallah to Shaykh and Ustada again for this beneficial knowledge on this important topic. We're gonna move or transition to brothers and sisters activities. So how this is gonna work is brothers are gonna be going to the dining hall. I think I'm gonna have you guys leave first before the sisters get up and leave, and then shortly after I'll have the sisters head over to the youth room right over there for our activities and snacks, inshallah. So brothers, if you want to leave right
And just one quick thing, real quickly. I see some new faces, mashallah, some people, I don't know if you've come here before, but please do follow the NWICC youth. I think that's if you want to focus on what is beneficial. Alhamdulillah, they do a lot of programs. We want to continue increasing our programs. We have youth leadership. MashaAllah, Sister Sham is one of our youth leaders. We always need more support, especially from the brothers. MashaAllah, we have the sisters that always turn up. But the brothers, we need some more support. So follow the NWICC youth. And then also, again, follow, with all jokes aside, follow Ustada Faduma. She does a lot of stuff at the U, mashallah, the U of M, the MSA. Really good programs. My social media page as well. Mine is Shaykh Saif. I do a lot of halaqas here at the masjid. And I want you guys, because we're local, we're accessible, alhamdulillah. We're talking on the topic of, making ourselves accessible and learning. So do follow Ustada Faduma. What is your Instagram? I'm going to do a shout out for you. Just say it. Yeah. Please follow Ustada Faduma and follow myself, inshallah. Good.
Inshallah. Okay. It's just funny because it's like a.
It's okay.
Okay. Anyways, it's FAEDUBAYA.
Yeah. Inshallah.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense, but.
Inshallah. You'll find it. Just find her. Just
type
follow
in
her.
my first name and you'll find it.
Yeah. Inshallah.
Fatima.
And mine as well. Inshallah. And you will find good programs online. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Sorry, go guys.
Okay, sisters who are still in the musalla, Marwa and Arwa are going to be standing at that door, and they will lead you guys to the youth room, inshallah, for our snacks and activities. Inshallah, we have fun things planned, so yeah.